Hi guys! Welcome to yet another video of Joy's Kitchen. In today's kitchen we're learning how to make Akara. Akara is a Nigerian snack that everybody enjoys. So let's stick along and let's learn how to make them. So what you'll be needing is 500 grams of beans, black-eyed peas, 4 cups of oil, 1 pepper, a half onion, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and a blender. So these are the beans that we're going to be using. These are called black-eyed beans. We need to soak the 500 grams beans. I unfortunately deleted my footage of me soaking it, but basically leave it in the water for about 3 hours, and after that the shells of the beans will wash up to the surface of the water and you could just throw the shells away. After doing that, you're gonna just pour the beans in the strainer, and we're gonna use water to wash the beans now to make sure all the shells are away. You're gonna see that some of the shells are still gonna come up to the surface. Just use like a spoon to pack that away and just throw that in the bin because we're not gonna need that. These are what it's gonna look like. You know, this is what we started with and this is what we end up with. To make the beans paste, just add the beans into the blender. Make sure you don't add too much beans, at least don't let the beans reach the top of the blender, because when you add water to the beans, it's just gonna rise. The paste is gonna rise and it might come out of the blender if you're not careful. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is adding water. We're gonna be adding a half cup of water. We're not adding too much water at the first time so that all the beans will be able to blend. If you add too much water, it's just gonna make like a soup of beans, and some of the beans are not gonna blend and we're gonna have seeds in our akara. As you can see, the beans are not really able to blend truly, so at this point when it starts like not blending, we're gonna add another half a cup of water. As you add water, you're going to see that the beans are kind of blending, but at a certain point it would stop blending again. You can shake it and try to blend it again. If you see that the beans are not blending, you're going to add another half a cup of water. Keep doing this until the beans blend truly. Give it a good shake. As you can see, the beans are now blending into a paste. You don't need to add water anymore at this point, because if you add too much water, the akara is just gonna become light and not really thick. Just let this blend through for about 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we're gonna high up the speed. Now after 2 minutes, I'm offering the speed 1 and putting it on speed 2. This is just going to make the beans paste smooth and faster. Just leave this for another 3 minutes, and after that we're going to start putting in the onions and the pepper. After 3 minutes, remove the paste from the blender and put it in a bowl or something you want to use. And at this point, we're going to be able to cut the onions. You can cut the onions in your desired shape and size you want, but I like to cut them small, not too small, not too big actually, because I want to be able to feel the onions when I'm eating the akara, but I don't want it to overshadow the akara. Once you've cut that, you can keep the other half at the corner because we're not going to be using those ones. Now add the onions to your beans paste. You don't need to mix this up yet because we're first of all gonna cut the pepper. Make sure you wash the pepper before you chop this and put them in the beans paste. You want to cut the pepper into small pieces because you don't want someone to start eating the akara and like a big piece of pepper is going to be in the mouth because that's going to be really hot. I mean, depending on your pepper. But once you've chopped that up, just add that to your beans paste and the onions. Now we're gonna add the 1.5 teaspoon of salt. Just evenly divide this over the whole paste. Using a fork, I'm just gonna mix these three things up together in the paste. As you can see, the paste is not really smooth yet, so we're gonna just mix this up with the fork by ourselves. Because if you use your blender, your onions are gonna basically just mix in. You're not gonna feel anything in the akara anymore. That's why I like using my hand to mix it up. After about 5 minutes of mixing, your paste is done. You can take like a little spoon to taste it if you've added enough salt. And if you think that's good, we can go over to frying the akara. Now you can add in the oil. Make sure that your pan is not preheated before you adding the oil, and the fire beneath the pan is on the lowest heat possible. Your oil will be able to heat up very slowly, and it's gonna make sure that the akara gets done on the inside. Because if your oil is too hot, basically only the outside of your akara will fry and the inside will still be paste. To check if your oil is hot enough, just throw in a piece of onion. If it starts bubbling, you know that it's time to add in the akara paste. Using a scooping spoon, I'm just gonna scoop in a bit of the akara paste into the oil. The more paste you put in, obviously, the bigger the akara is gonna become. You don't want to scoop too much at once because the akara paste is gonna be able to stick together, and we don't want that unless you're making like a big akara. We're not just gonna let this fry on a low heat first. After a while, we're gonna high the heat up a little bit. Using a fork, I'm just gonna make sure that the akaras are separated from each other and not stick together. And if they are stick together, this is the time you're gonna be able to like separate them. At this point, I'm highing up the heat a bit to medium heat. And from time to time, I'm just gonna check if the akaras are done on each side already. Just flip them over. Once you see that one side is done, you can flip it to the other side and just let that get done too. Once you see that the akaras are done, you're just gonna take them out of the oil and make sure the oil drips away before you add them on top of the cloth. On the cloth, the oil can even drain out a little bit further. Once you've removed those, just go ahead and make more akara. All you need to do is repeat the steps we did before these ones. If you've done everything right that I've told you guys to do, this is what you should end up with. Nice looking and nice tasting akara. When you've made this, you're able to eat this with like custard or however you want to. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.